This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is Tuesday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the truth and the science about what actually happened in this opioid crisis. And our regular listeners will know we're making huge progress on getting the book ready to turn over to the editor. In fact, Alex and I are due to turn the first chapter over tomorrow. And start the process, and we'll try to wrap that up pretty quickly. And so, as we're this far along in the book, we'll be focusing on the book and emphasizing the book in this podcast for a while. So we shared an excerpt from chapter 1 yesterday, and so today we're going to share an excerpt from chapter 2. And let me just read this to you. This is an excerpt from chapter 2 of the book. I am the author of the book, and the name of the book is The Pharmaceutical Genocide. And chapter 2, the name of chapter 2 is A 1-2 Punch. And here's the excerpt. So, we understand well how the genetic damage occurred. The pharmaceutical companies failed at their obligation to warn you. But how did this nonsense with the wrong diagnosis occur? There are two separate wrongs that were done to you. First, you were poisoned in your DNA by the opioids. Secondly, you were wrongly diagnosed as an opioid addict. How did the second wrong done to you, the wrong diagnosis, how did that come about? All right, so let's talk about this, okay? For all of our people, it's a 1-2 punch. There are two wrongs that have been done. Okay, overwhelmingly, our people started on the opioids from a prescription. Okay, and all pharmaceutical companies, no matter what their product is. Okay, in fact, all manufacturers of pretty much about anything. I don't care if it's baby cribs or seat belts or bladders or pharmaceutical products or kitchen utensils. Okay, if an issue comes up that the public needs to be warned about, okay, the manufacturer has the legal obligation to warn. And if they do not warn the public about it, well, that's called a failure to warn. Okay, and quite frankly, the DNA damage from the opioids is there in the literature. Okay, it's hiding in plain sight. Okay, it was first identified in 2009 by the who was that in 2009? I want to say Daggers. It wasn't Daggers. It was Nielsen. By Nielsen in 2009. Okay, and then Shorboff replicated basically Nielsen's study in 2011. And then along comes Dr. Eliza Walkman at Boston Medical Center in both 2014 and 2018. And then Dr. Sandoval Sierra at the University of Tennessee in 2020 with that beautiful study that was done. I mean, all these studies they all showed genetic damage. They all showed methylation by the opioids. So the pharmaceutical manufacturers, they can't claim, oh, we didn't know. We didn't know. There are a whole bunch of really well done studies out there beginning in 2009 that say, hey, opioids are causing methylation. Okay, I mean, look at the 2014, 2018 study by Dr. Eliza Walkman. Okay, the severity of the methylation was linked to the severity of the symptoms in withdrawal. Now stop and think about that. For those of you who have experienced withdrawal. Okay, now specifically this study was done in babies born in withdrawal, neonatal abstinence syndrome, NAS. Okay, but the scientific evidence was there. The severity of methylation determined the severity of withdrawal symptoms. So for those of you who have experienced withdrawal, stop and think about it. Okay, those withdrawal symptoms, the severity of the withdrawal symptoms are a kind of a gross indication of the severity of your genetic damage. Okay, and yet the pharmaceutical companies didn't warn even after those studies. Okay, look at the 2020 Sandoval Sierra study. Okay, Sandoval Sierra took, what was it, 33, 32, 34 opioid naive individuals, people who'd never taken an opioid in their life. They're having a tooth pulled or some type of oral surgery. bridge work or root canal. I don't know. Boy, I even hate that term, root canal. From a marketing perspective, they need a new term for that one, root canal. That just sounds painful. But these were opioid naive people who were having some type of a dental procedure done, and they volunteered for the study, and they did 3 DNA samples before, during, and after the surgery. Before they were, and what they found was just a few doses of the opioid, you could measure the methylation, you could measure the genetic damage. I mean, there is no doubt that the opioids are causing the methylation. There's just no doubt, and yet still we have this failure to warn. So the first insult that was done to our people was a failure to warn. And quite frankly, if you warned our people, hey, you just got a prescription for 90 Percocet or 60 OxyContin or whatever it was, just wanted you to know that hey, if you take those, you'll be genetically damaged. If you take enough of them, when you try to stop, you're going to get sicker than you've ever been in your life. That's what's called informed consent. Okay, and that's what our people were denied. They were denied the right to informed consent. How were they denied the right to informed consent? Why were they denied the right to informed consent? Because the pharmaceutical companies failed to warn. It's just classic product liability. This stuff isn't hard. That's why we got to file mass tort lawsuits. Okay, it's just failure to warn. So the first punch that was done to our people was a failure to warn. Okay, and that's what this excerpt is talking about. But the second punch that was done to our people was when they got sick. They got the wrong diagnosis. When they got sick, they got the wrong diagnosis. Psychiatrists came out with this absolute nonsense about opioid addiction. No, they're genetically damaged, and when they try to stop taking the opioids, they lose control of their internal organs and organ systems. Okay, there's no relationship between genetic damage, a poisoning. There's no relationship between a poisoning and addiction, and you can't make one up. So that's what this excerpt from chapter 2 is talking about, is what happened to our people was a 1-2 punch. And I hope you people are as excited about this book as I am. I am very excited about this book. Okay. Frankly, I've worked hard on this book to make it understandable for people what happened to them. Okay. When they understand what happened to them, they're going to be angry. Okay. They're going to be way angry. Okay. What do you mean nobody warned me? If somebody warned me, I wouldn't have taken the opioids, but nobody warned you. And then when you got sick, you were given the wrong diagnosis. Opioid addiction is not a diagnosis; it's a label. And in the book, we go deep into the science behind opioid addiction to show that there is no science behind opioid addiction. It's fairy tale. Okay, it's as scientific as your horoscope. Okay, if you want to believe in the diagnosis of opioid addiction, you might as well believe in your horoscope. Okay, because both carry the same amount of scientific evidence behind them, and we go into this extensively in the book. So I hope people are as excited about this book as I am. Anyway, Alex and I are going to hold here today. Alex and I are going to be reaching out to everybody. Okay, we need your help. Okay, first thing we need your help on is to get this book edited. Okay, second thing we need help on is to help Dr. Emery. Okay, what the DEA is doing to him is just wrong. We need some help getting some more DNA work done. We need some help on getting the mass tort lawsuits filed. This is how we're going to bring about an end to the opioid crisis. What matters most to our people is that they get access to free treatment and free buprenorphine. That's what our people need immediately, is free treatment and free buprenorphine. And that's what we're working towards. So work with us along the way. There's a lot of steps along the way. Work with us along the way. Let us hear from you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to us. Post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. We will be back here tomorrow. And if you're not getting emails and text messages from Alex and myself over the next 10 days, please send us updated contact information so that we can stay in touch with you and build a coalition and get this stuff done. Everybody have a great day, and we will see you back tomorrow. Alex, thank you for everything.